My name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and a mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news, interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. Almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why. Welcome back to the Channelmom Show on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510 and FM 93.7, where we are celebrating you. I want to welcome every single mom out there, and I mean each one of you. And I also want to say hello to my friends in the Bailey-Conifer area. Thanks so much for listening. I am your host, Jenny Dean Schmidt. And coming up, you will be able to talk to our guests if you dial 303-297-1510. Or you can email me at channelmom@AOL. And finally, you can join us on our Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/channelmom. Remember to like us. Like there's an option to hate us, but you got to like us in order to be able to chat with us. Loved the last guest. She left me a book and a present, a gift wrap package. I wish you could see it. Very nice of her. I'll have to have her on again. Right now, though, coming up, we do have my recent interview with musician J.J. Heller. Love her. Her songs have made it on the top 20 of Billboard charts, and she's been heard on TV shows like Make It or Break It and One Tree Hill. And, of course, J.J.'s also a mommy. You know, I started out my interview by asking her if the rumor was true that she has a baby on the way.
I do. Yeah, another little girl. So my husband is severely outnumbered at this point.
But men get well loved by those daughters, I think, don't you?
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. I am going to start out with one of your songs, What Love Really Means, which is probably your most popular song to date. Is that correct?
I think so.
Her office is shrinking a little each day. She's the woman whose husband has run away. She'll go to the gym after working today. Maybe if she was thinner, then he would have stayed. And she says, "Who will love me for me? Not for what I have done or what I will become. Who will love me for me? 'Cause nobody has shown me what love really means. What love really means."
I want to talk about it. I will be honest with you. I cry when I listen to most of your songs, which I don't know if that's a ringing endorsement or not, but I do because you get to me. And my friends just love what you write about. What love really means. I want you to tell the mothers the way in which you identify with that little boy in the corner and the wife whose husband has left her. What prompted you to write that song?
Well, interestingly enough, I sat down to write a song, and I really didn't have any inspiration. The song just kind of flowed out onto the page, but at the same time, I can really identify with all 3 of those scenarios in the song, and it's basically just different people looking for love and to be loved for who they are and not for how much money they make or, you know, how beautiful they are or how popular they are. I think we all we want to be loved unconditionally, and it's really difficult to find because everybody makes mistakes and lets us down. But that's why I'm so thankful for my relationship with the Lord, because I feel like He is the one who can love me for who I am, because He made me the way that I am, and He's delighted with me for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's what the song is about.
Absolutely. And don't you think, as a mother, that sometimes in our lonely times we can really identify with what you've said in that song because, gosh, we don't get any accolades from society. And we really do just want to be loved for who we are when we're a mama.
Yeah, it is. It's tough because it's so exhausting being a mom, but you don't get a paycheck. You don't get a progress report from your boss. So It is, because we long to be affirmed, and so it's been interesting. I have my daughter is 2.5, so just having that transition into motherhood, it's such a contrast between my role as a mom and then my role as a singer-songwriter and performer, and
Yeah.
it's amazing how many compliments I get for what I do on the stage, but in so many ways being a mom is much more difficult.
And in some ways much more important. That's the struggle I have, having been in the public eye once, and you're obviously in the public eye. Yeah, I mean, what you're doing as a mom is just as, if not more important, and no one's coming up to you with applause
right.
like you get on the stage, and you kind of deserve it. Well, we'll move on to another song. I want to take a listen to Your Hands.
When my world is shaking, heaven stands. When my heart is breaking, I never leave your hands.
Okay, about Your Hands. This is specifically about how most of us, at one time or another, seek God in our pain. We just need somebody to fall back on. And again, I've got to believe that just about every mother, whether it's been when her child is sick or when something's going wrong in her marriage or she's just had an awful day, has been there. What did you learn in your life that made you write this song?
This song actually comes from my experience with anxiety, and it was at a time where I was every day experiencing panic attacks, and I just had no idea where they came from, but they just kept happening, and I just felt so overwhelmed and so out of control, and I think part of it was I was pregnant with my first.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And, you know, I just had, I don't know how to be a mother, and I hadn't had that much experience around babies. I never really liked babysitting, and so, and there was just so many things to learn, and so I think that was a big part of it, and so I was just really kind of in this desperate place of, you know, what am I doing, and is there hope, and can I get through this? And so this song just talks about when everything is falling apart around me, I know that I can still trust in God, and that He has a plan, and that He has everything under control. The chorus says, when my world is shaking, heaven stands. When my heart is breaking, I never leave your hands. And that's just so comforting to me that that when I'm going through a difficult time and when I'm in pain, God isn't somewhere far away, unreachable, just kind of looking down, saying, "Oh, that's sad." but He's here. I mean, He's with me and grieving with me, and at the same time, I know that He's using even these painful situations for some bigger purpose.
That's right. Amen, girl. And I think just about every mother out there could listen to that song and receive some comfort from it, because you're right. We're all in that place, and we all need to know that our life is under control and that God's got it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's good to know. I'm also now going to take a listen and have our audience listen to Oliviana. This song, I almost had to shut it off in the car because it's tough. It's in a mother's world, you know, this is a cliche, but it's the hardest thing to imagine is to lose a baby. Mm-hmm. And you wrote this song about an experience of a mother friend of yours, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to expand a little bit about the love of a mother and what happened to her. Sure.
A friend of mine actually, she told me about a blog. A friend of hers was writing, and at the time I hadn't even met this woman yet, but my friend was saying, you have to read this blog. It's just so moving. And so I did. I went to it, and I spent a few hours just reading through her entries. And it's this woman, Amber, who talks about her journey through her second pregnancy. And she found out later on in the pregnancy that her baby was going to have severe birth defects, and they didn't know if she was going to survive or how long she would survive. And so it was, I was reading these entries and just sobbing. I couldn't imagine what that would be like. And yet at the same time, there was so much hope in the things that she was writing. And so she went on to say that her little girl, Oliviana, was born, and she lived for 11 minutes. And yet they're so thankful for her life, and they saw and they've seen how Oliviana's life, though so short, has impacted so many lives around them. And it's so interesting to me that she wrote that at that point, and then and now to have then I wrote a song about it, and now there are literally millions of people who have heard this song.
Yeah, I mean, it's unimaginable that we could get something good out of a baby living for only 11 minutes. And it does break my heart. I've cried. I also cried when I was on the web looking at the blog and listening to your song.
Yeah.
But, again, this drives home this point that we're trying to make about motherhood. Look at what just this mother's love for her child and wanting to carry on whatever purpose God had in that 11-minute life is so beautiful. And it's because of the mother-child relationship that's just so beautiful, don't you think?
Yes. Exactly, and it's so interesting. I remember being pregnant with my daughter Lucy, and just wondering, having all these doubts about, am I going to be able to care for this child, and will I be motivated to wake up in the middle of the night to feed her? And I've always been a sleep person. Like, I'm not a late night person or an early morning person. I like to sleep. And so I think that was a part of motherhood that I was really kind of scared about. And yet, those first couple of months and Lucy was just an awful sleeper. I would get up, multiple times a night, and yet I wanted to do it. I mean, it was hard for sure. Yeah. But I just had this motivation because I loved her so much, and the second she was born, I looked at her and I just couldn't believe it. She's mine, and I still look at her and I can't believe that she's my daughter. And
it's awesome. It's the most awesome thing. Really quick, I've got about a 30-second slot here for you to answer. Lovely little things on the blog. You write most about your baby and sewing. Tell me the thing that you want to pass on to all the ladies listening about being a mama. What's the most important thing to you?
Oh, man, the most important thing.
In 30 seconds.
Just enjoying your children. Sometimes I forget to just enjoy her. I'm so caught up in, am I disciplining her correctly? Is she annoying me to death? But to just soak up the moments and be present, because everybody says it goes by so fast. And so I just want to love her for who she is.
Well, and you seem like you do, JJ. You're such a blessing, and I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sure you're going to be a blessing to the moms who listen. So take care, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.